seasons I was sure I would make it. There were valleys I was certain I would break. There were nights I lay there wondering if morning would ever find its way through for my sake. But every single time I reached the bottom, every single time the road ran out of road, I looked back and saw the evidence so clearly that a faithful hand had carried every load. You carried me through, you carried me through when I had nothing left and nothing more to give. You carried me through, you carried me through. You were the reason and the how I'm still alive to live. When the current was too strong for my own swimming, when the mountain was too steep for my own climb, you carried me through every storm and every season. You carried me through every single time. I remember when the diagnosis landed. I remember when the marriage fell apart. I remember when the dream I built came crashing. The rubble nearly buried up my heart. But you were there in every broken moment. You were there before the tears had found their way. You were working in the silence of the waiting. You would carry me through it every day. You carried me through, you carried me through, not because I was deserving or was strong. You carried me through, you carried me through, you carried me because to you I belong. When the enemy was certain he had won me, when the darkness had convinced me I was through, you reached down with an everlasting mercy and you carried me through. The footprints in the sand told someone's story of how the Lord was carrying them all along. And now I stand here with my own testimony that your arms were strong enough when mine were gone.